How's it going, guys? Andrew here with Justified EDC, and I have a fall EDC update for you guys. I think it's been a little over a month since I've done one of these. I was kind of doing them like once per season. I did like 2 during the summer just because things changed up a little bit, and I was going to wait a little bit further into fall for me to do this update. But I've gotten a lot of new gear in, a lot of things have changed around, you know, some things I've done reviews on that I showed in the past, and I've switched some different things up, gone back to some things I was doing. So I wanted to get an update out here for you that will also kind of serve as an update on some gear that I'm reviewing. So we're going to get into all of that, but before we do that, we have to thank the sponsor of the channel, Auxiliary Manufacturing. Mike over at Auxiliary Manufacturing makes awesome custom USA-made fixed blades like this Pocket Bowie or this Sumi. He's got a bunch of different designs out there. There's going to be something for everyone, so if you're not interested in these, definitely go check out his page to see his other designs. I do have a discount code with him. Code Justified10 will get you 10% off your order on his website, so I will leave codes and links down in the description to all of his pages, and thank you as always to Mike for sponsoring the channel. So let's get right into this here. Let's get the boring stuff out of the way. First of all, keys. Everyone has keys, you know, everyone kind of has the phone wallet keys. I realize I never talk about my phone in my EDC updates, and that's because I use my phone to film. I don't have a fancy camera or anything, maybe someday down the road. But right now I use my phone to film. It's just an iPhone 11. It has some generic case on it. It's literally nothing special. So phone wallet keys, the phone's out of the way. Keys. If you guys remember, I went to this carabiner here that has like this double locking system on here. I like it a lot. It's just from this brand. You can read right there. I'll leave links to all this stuff down in the description. I really hope you guys appreciate these links because it takes me a ton of time to do all of the links for my EDC updates just because I show off so much gear. But it's just this double lock mechanism that without depressing this back piece here, this won't unlock, which I like quite a bit because with normal carabiners, I'd often get caught on things or, you know, come off of my belt loop. But with this, it's very easy and intuitive. The way you grab it, just like any other carabiner, your hand kind of naturally depresses that, and then you can get to your carabiner. Other things on here, just this, you know, Resqme tool, seatbelt cutter, glass breaker. Everyone should have one. They're very cheap. Car keys, just for my Toyota Corolla gang for life. My Order the Black Shamrock tag on there. Then my keys that you don't need to see, you don't care about. And then this is the most recent addition to my keys. I just did a review on this. It's probably the last video before this if you want to check it out. This is the Rovyvon Angel Eyes E1. It's a nice little keychain light. You can go right to high. Has moonlight modes. I'm not sure if it's really going to show up on camera. There you go. Really nice little light. Just to go over some of the features real quick. It's a dual fuel, so it has an internal battery, but also you can pop a AAA battery in there. So you have a backup battery. The run times and the brightnesses are a little different depending on what battery you're using, but it's a very slim, very lightweight little light. You can get a pocket clip if you wanted to pocket carry this, but I think it makes a great keychain light. Again, it's like 1 ounce without the AAA battery and like 1.5 ounces with it, so it doesn't add a whole lot of weight, but it gives you a really decent amount of output. On the internal battery, it's like 700 lumens, and on the AAA, it's like 150. So pretty cool. That is my key setup. Not a whole lot has changed on that. You guys have seen that a ton of times. Other just kind of boring, ordinary stuff. I often have my AirPods on me. You hadn't seen these in a while because I actually lost one of these for a while and couldn't find it, and my wife, bless her heart, she found it finally cleaning up our bedroom. It had fallen and, you know, rolled under into one of those black holes where socks and AirPods and stuff of that nature goes. So I keep these on me a lot of the time just because I like to listen to music and podcast, you know, depending on what I'm doing. And it's also nice to, you know, they auto connect to my iPhone, so it's nice to have a hands-free way to talk on the phone if you need to in a pinch, especially in an emergency, if you need to be doing something, but you also need to be on the phone with first responders or something. It's good to have hands-free way to talk. So I keep those around. My flashlight has not changed. and it probably won't until I finally bite the bullet and buy the newer version of this. This is the Surefire Stiletto Pro. They have the Pro 2 out now that is a little bit more, has a little more lumen count and a much higher candela count. But they're very, very expensive, so I eventually will bite the bullet and buy one of those to review and most likely carry, just because this is my absolute favorite light of all time. I love it so much. It's got the admin modes here on the side and then the straight to high on the back. It's really, really bomb-proof. I've seen some people complaining recently about Surefire lights in terms of their quality. I know the electronics aren't potted, which it would be a nice feature to have on a light this expensive, but I've never had any durability issues with Surefire lights, so I don't really know what people are complaining all that much about. But this will probably be my EDC light for the foreseeable future until I get the Pro 2. But for now, really slim form factor, great light. You have that, tactical mode where it goes straight to high momentary, but also you have those lower modes for you kind of utility stuff. So that is that. You guys have seen that 1,000 times on the channel before. Other stuff. You guys, I think I had shown off this little piece of gear here. This is the Lever Gear Bitvault. And just a caveat, I don't remember if it was in my last EDC update or not, but in one of the new knives and gear videos, I had shown off that little 3D printed case that I was keeping my little caffeine pouches in. They look like Zyn pouches or, any of those nicotine pouches, but there's caffeine. I like using those. I have ADHD brain, and my brain needs some kind of stimulant to stay focused. So I like caffeine, but I don't always want to be drinking something. So these little caffeine pouches are great. So I've been using that 3D printed one, but it did end up cracking and breaking on me. It was just PLA. If you guys are familiar with 3D printing at all, PLA is a very easy material to print and get very good print quality with the right settings, but it's not the strongest thing in the world. So I reached out to the maker on Esee that made it, and we went back and forth a little bit, and we're trying a new version in PETG, which is a little bit stronger. So that's on its way to me right now, but for now I switched to this, and actually it works pretty well. That one held, I think, 5 pouches, and depending on what pouches you guys use, it'll be a little bit less or a little bit more. But this is the Bitvault. You can get little dividers in here, and it was originally meant to, hold 1/4-inch bits, so you can also use it for medication or anything. For a while ago, I used to carry my pills in here, but you just have these little tabs on the side that you depress and it pulls out. You can hold like 6 or 8 of these pouches in here, again, depending on the size. It does have, the ability to drive bits and stuff like that. I don't use it for that. It has a little carabiner down here. I just put a lanyard on here so it's easier to get out of my pocket. But that's just been riding in my front pocket next to my wallet until that other 3D printed case comes from Esee. But I actually really like carrying them in this. So, if that one doesn't work out, I'll probably just go to this. And this one's just made of aluminum, so a lot stronger. So we'll see. But that's been that. And let's see, wallets. Recently, and I just did a review on this one in the same video as the Rovyvon. This is the Redeemed Creations Co. What is this? The front pocket bifold. It's a great wallet. Has 2 inside slots. I usually keep cards in here and then cash and other stuff over here. And then it has a quick access slot here on the back. Really awesome wallet. I won't get too much into the review process or anything in this, but this has been my main EDC wallet that I was sent to review. I did purchase it, but I was given a discount on it because he knew I was going to review it. This was sent to me for review. You can see their logo on there, Chimera Leatherworks. He reached out to me on Instagram, asked if he could send a wallet along, so I finished the review on this, and now I've been carrying this guy to review. It's just this flap here that opens up. There's no button or snap or anything, but it folds over to protect your cards and everything like that. And then you have, a quick access slot here in the front, and then in the back you have this little pull tab that you can get in here, pull your cards up, sort through them, pull them out, whatever. And then you have a slot back here for cash. You could fold it twice if you don't want it hanging out the top like that, but you can put unfolded cash here in the side, so you can like look through it and stuff like that. That's one of the features I really liked on my Open Sea Leather Topsider Quick Draw, so it's cool to see it on here. I'm not really sure how I feel about there not being a snap or, you know, anything that keeps this closed. It kind of bothers me that like when I take it out of my pocket and just sit it there, it like lays open like that. It's really more of a kind of OCD thing for me than it is an actual issue. But the leather quality, the stitching quality and everything is very, very nice. It's all blacked out. I didn't have a black wallet, so I asked for the black one. And then the other thing that I've been carrying in my wallets recently that I have in here, this is from, what is it, Exceed Designs. It's these little 3D printed blade holders here that hold a standard utility blade. And the way they're designed is really cool. They have a cutout slot in here so that you never have to actually touch the edge of the blade. So you slip it down in here, and then once you get it down, you don't have to actually push on the point or anything. You can grab it here and slide it the rest of the way down. Same thing when you're getting it out. You can push up here and then pull it out. So that's pretty cool. You know, I often carry a Milwaukee Fastback, especially if I'm at work or something, so it's nice to have some extra blade storage on you. So that just slips in there. It's like the same size as a card, doesn't take a whole lot of extra space, but that's the wallet situation. Those are the ones I've been carrying recently. Again, I do have a review out on this one. This one will have a review coming soon. And then the last thing here is this pouch, and this is going to have a couple different things in it, but you guys have seen this pouch a bunch before. This is from Citizen E over on Instagram. I got my auxiliary manufacturing pouch patch here on the back. It's one of the rubberized ones. One, I just like repping Mike because he is my channel sponsor and he's a really good guy. But also it's rubberized, so it keeps it from slipping around or slipping out of my pocket. I usually just keep this in my back pocket. I have a retention ring on here. I did have just a normal lanyard on here, but I found the retention ring was easier, one, to grab to pull out of my pocket, and it's just easier to grab this and pull it open and closed than just a normal lanyard. So retention ring, those are, he's a good guy as well over on Instagram. I'll leave links to all this stuff. But in here, out here on the front, I have my Soul-built Marksmith, which is just a bolt action permanent marker. I used to just carry a Sharpie in here, but they sent one of these along. I do have a full review on this as well. So just bolt action Sharpie. I like having a Sharpie around to write on different surfaces that a pen won't work on. And also for sharpening, I like to have a Sharpie nearby to mark my edge, to figure out my edge angle. So I use that a lot for that. And then my pen, you've seen this before, Tactile Turn Bolt Action Mini in titanium with the, this has the, what is it, the Pilot G2 Mini refills. I also have a full review on this. And then inside, all we have is my Knipex Cobras. Been carrying these for forever. These are my favorite pliers. I prefer them over needle nose, and they work really well. They work for a wide range of sizes. And then on here, I have some 3D printed soft jaws from a maker on Esee, who the name is escaping me right now, but I will link them when I do the video. That one of the only problems with the Cobra is because it has these really aggressive teeth that work really great for grabbing onto stuff. If you're working on a surface that you don't want to mar up, the teeth will mar that surface up. So these soft jaws are really nice. You can just pop them on here and then you won't mar up the surface that you're grabbing. So I usually just leave them on there, and if I don't need them, I can just quickly pop them off. But I've been enjoying those so far. Those have been working great. And then the other thing that's in here, previously I had been carrying a Victorinox, I believe it was the Hiker. I'll just pull it out here so you can see it. It has redone scales by Knife Guy on Instagram. These really nice micarta scales. So I was carrying that in here, but I have really gone away from Swiss Army knives. Simply because I hate that the tools don't lock. The knife and the saw is not that big of a deal because, again, you're putting downward pressure on it, so it doesn't really matter. It's not really going to close on you. But for things like the drivers and the awl and everything like that, nothing ruins my day faster than trying to use a screwdriver, putting torque on it, and then it closing on you. I am a firm believer that if you're going to be putting torque on anything, whether it's, for prying, so, if you're using this to pry, or if you're using a screwdriver to drive, it should lock. And the Leatherman Free T2 has that. In addition to that, they're all one-handed opening, which is another thing that bothers me about Swiss Army knives. Is oftentimes, I'm holding something and I need to turn something. With the Swiss Army knife, I have to let go, pull it out, get my thumb in there to open the tools up. With this, I just, if I want the knife, I can get the knife. If I want the tools, I can go out here, flip through my tools. Okay, I want a Phillips head, and I can swing that out. One hand close as well. So I don't foresee myself going away from this anytime soon. This is a fantastic tool from Leatherman. They also have the T4, which adds, I believe, a file and some scissors. So as well as a little pair of tweezers like the Victorinox tools. So if you like that and you want the scissors, I just don't use scissors that much, so I just have the T2. But that's what's in there, and that is all that is in this pouch. That's going to go back in my pocket. I'm just slowly putting this stuff back in my pockets as I finish. Last thing here before we get into knives and carry guns and everything, which is what a lot of you like to see. One of the last pieces of gear I've been carrying a lot is this. This is the BicBank Mini from G3D Printables. Again, shameless plug. This is my 3D printing company. We make these. We have the larger size BicBank that has the extra storage in there. It's more geared towards the outdoors, a lot more fire starting capabilities. But the BicBank Mini is a great little EDC tool. It holds a mini Bic, this friction fit down in there. It's not going to come out or anything like that. And then it has this little clip here that when it is engaged underneath that tab, you can't depress that fuel button, so you won't leak fuel. See there, you won't be able to start it, so it's not going to leak your fuel. But if you want to use it, you can take it off. You can just unclip it and flip it to this side. It'll clip in the other way as well, and then you can use your lighter like normal. And the clip itself is made of ABS because it has a very high warping temperature, so it won't warp with that metal head heating up. So that's the clip. Down underneath here, you have a storage compartment that is just a plug you take off. You can fit some pills, or, if you wanted to put, some tinder or some little survival kit or something in there. I use it to carry my medication. That plug just fits back in there. You have a lanyard here, lanyard hole, or you could put a small carabiner through there if you wanted. And then on the outside here, you have storage for the Victorinox toothpick, the Victorinox tweezers, and the Victorinox ballpoint pen, which I'm having a hard time getting out for whatever reason right now. My goodness, why is this not coming out? There we go. This is a prototype, so some of the fit and finish of it isn't great, but I've just been carrying a prototype because I didn't want to take away from the stock that we've been printing. But the Victorinox ballpoint pen, so that goes down in there. So it's nice to have those little tools. I used to carry like a Victorinox Classic just for the tweezers and toothpick, but I can have that in here. I can have my lighter in here. I can have my pill storage. So instead of having all those things separate, it's all in one place, and I usually just drop this down in my coin pocket. It's a great little tool to have around. So if you're interested in these, shameless plug again, I'll leave links to the G3D website. We have these in a ton of different colors, red, green, yellow, black, orange, and we have glow in the dark right now for October. So if you're interested in these, definitely go check them out. I really love mine. Let's do folding knives next. So I'm going to bring out a bunch of these here. And here we go. So these are the knives that I've been carrying recently. Some of these are more for review, and some of these are just because I like to carry them. For a while there, I really got into a routine of only carrying the stuff that I was reviewing. And, that's great because I get the review process done faster. But I've learned to give myself a little more grace and, once a week, twice a week, if I really just want to carry a specific knife just because I like it. I've been doing that, and it makes it more fun for me. That way I'm not just stuck carrying my review stuff. So this knife and this knife and this knife have mostly just been carrying because I like them, and these are the ones I've been carrying for review. So I'll go over the review ones first, and then I'll talk about these. So the ones I've been carrying for review, first off, I just did a review on this one as well. This is the Real Steel Barlow. I carried this as my only utility knife for a whole month. It is a slip joint. It's got the 3/4 stop, it's got a pocket clip, N690 blade, G10 scales that are quick swappable. Really, really nice budget modern traditional if you want something with a pocket clip. The walk and talk on it is great, the centering is great, fit and finish is awesome. I have my own edge on here now, which helped it retain its edge a little bit better. But I did carry this, and if you're interested in hearing more of my thoughts on this, I did just do a full review on this. And then we have this guy picked up here. This is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2 in Cruwear. It's also got some Rips Garage Tech Black Micarta scales and a Lynch Northwest titanium pocket clip on here, deep carry. Picked this up from a buddy on Instagram. When I got it, it was very, very stiff, as sometimes they are from the factory, but it has been breaking in so, so nicely. Without any kind of blade play or anything. The Spyderco compression locks just break in so wonderfully. I'll actually just for fun pull out my, this is my pair of 3 that I've had for forever, and it is just stupid smooth. It's, you know, the compression lock is so, so smooth now. And this one is kind of getting there as I've been using it more. So really been enjoying this. I picked this up specifically because I had never had Cruwear before. So I've been testing out Cruwear with different edge angles and stuff. It came with an edge that the last owner had put on it that was very, very thin. It was like, it was lower than 15 degrees, which is more than I would do. And I was starting to get some chipping along the edge, which with the proper edge angle, you shouldn't really be getting a whole lot of with Cruwear. One of the nice things about Cruwear is you get decent toughness as well as really good edge retention. Not the most stainless steel in the world, but that's what's good about the black DLC coating. So all that being said, instead of maintaining that really thin edge, I ended up putting just a 20-degree micro bevel on it. And, you know, we'll see if that starts to hold up any better. But the reason I picked this up is because I wanted to compare it to K390. We'll talk more about this right here, but K390 and Cruwear are both kind of in the similar vein of having decent toughness while having a lot of edge retention. So I wanted to compare and contrast them from the, you know, from a company, so you know you're getting, you know, similar heat treats and everything like that, and, you know, similar edge angles and that kind of thing. So that's why I picked this up. And then the last one here is, this is the Esee Avispa Automatic. It is a crossbar lock automatic. I've been carrying this to review for a while now. It is in M390 and G10, stainless steel pocket clip, full liners. It's a really, really awesome knife. I went camping the other weekend, and I took this and pretty much used it as my general utility knife around camp. So I used it from anywhere from, you know, all my normal things, you know, cutting, you know, rope and doing some food prep, and I actually did some carving with it because I wanted to see how the full flat grind here with M390 would hold up to stuff like that, because M390 is known to be a little chippy. But I did wood carving with this and kind of torqued on the edge and stuff like that, and I was very pleasantly surprised with how it held up. I finally did dull it down, so I put my own edge on it, but that has been holding up fantastic. I've been doing drop tests with this, as you can see from how it's getting beat up. It's holding up great. So this will be getting a review very, very soon, but just my general thoughts right now is that it's really, really great. I like it a lot, and I think it's going to be a good buy. So that is that. That's the last folder that I was carrying to review. And then these guys here, again, this is the Spyderco Endela in K390. This is one of my favorite knives of all time. These three here are honestly some of my favorite folding knives ever. The Endela is the in-between size between the Delica and the Endura, and it is the perfect size for me. Full flat ground K390, a ton of edge retention. It's been decently tough. I have a 20-degree edge on it right now. I had tried it with 15, and that was fine, so I'm trying it with 20 right now. And it's been holding up great. It hasn't been chipping on me. It holds an edge for absolutely forever, and for such a high edge retention steel, this has been very easy to sharpen, so I've been very happy with that. I absolutely love this knife. So one, just carrying it because it's one of my favorites, but also been carrying it to compare it to Cruwear. This guy right here is a K-bar trapper. Back when they were made in the US, it's made with carbon steel, and it had some like faux bone scales on it that I got recovered by Box Creek Knife Company. These are genuine stag covers now, and he also added half stops to both of the blades. So this is one of my absolute favorite knives ever. I love this knife so much. It's taking a great patina. This was kind of my camp cooking knife. I would take this in all of my, not like my preparing meals, but for like eating meals at the campsite. This was kind of like my steak knife. So, but I also just love carrying it for EDC. If I'm going to carry a traditional, you still get that full-size blade and full-size handle, but nice thin stock, and it's just great. Walk and talk is awesome. I love the Stag. This is one of my favorite knives. And then lastly, I hadn't been carrying this for a while just because I'd been carrying so many other things to review. But this these two here are kind of right now neck and neck in what I would say might be some of the best EDC folders ever. This is pretty much a perfect knife in my mind. This is the Three Rivers Manufacturing or TRM Neutron 2. Stupid thin blade stock, 20 CV blade, full flat grind. It has the quick swap scales on here where you just take the two screws off and you can replace them. I have some brown micarta, I have these green micarta, and then I also have some like diamond textured wood scales as well. And they also have these little O-rings that go on the thumb studs that, help with the deploying, but you can also switch them out for different colors and stuff, so that's really fun. But running on washers, it's so smooth. The D10 is perfect. The blade is so thin and slicey, and it's just a very, very thin carry. While, the scales are contoured slightly, it just feels so good in the hand while being a very, very thin knife. Deep carry pocket clip. This is one of my favorite knives ever. I need to get the Atom still, which is just this knife but sized up a little bit. But for right now, this is one of my knives that, if I dress up and I'm in like dress slacks or something, it's very, very thin. I often carry this. I was just at a wedding the other weekend and I carried this knife with the, nice wood scales, and I put some like teal blue bands on there. But this is kind of my favorite configuration to carry for EDC. If I just want a really, really good cutter, and that's just an easy knife to carry for EDC, this is one of my favorites to carry, just if I don't have anything else that I'm reviewing, or I just want to carry a really nice knife that I enjoy a lot. This is one of my favorites. So I might actually do a review on this. I know there's a lot of reviews out there on this knife over the years, but I might throw my hat in the ring and review this just because I love it so much. This is a fantastic knife, made in the US. I just can't say enough good things about it. So those are the folding knives. Let's move to fixed blades. So let me grab these over here. In the same vein as the folders, I've been trying to, give myself a little grace and, what in between carrying things for review, also just carry knives that I really enjoy. So I'll talk about those real quick. That would be these two knives right here. When I am not carrying, we'll go over my carry guns here in a second, but when I'm not carrying my Glock 17 where I have a spare magazine inside the waistband on my left side, if I'm just carrying my J-frame, I often carry this inside the waistband on my left side. This is the Turner CNC Jackalope XL, G10 scales, 3V blade, decently thick stock, but comes down to a nice thin edge. This is a fantastic kind of utility knife that can be pushed into a defensive role. I have some of this camo foam tape on here that just gives me a little bit extra grip for pulling it out of the sheath and, retaining it and stuff. But I love this knife. I do have a full review on this. I forgot to mention on some other things, but I have a full review on this knife. This is a fantastic knife. I want to get a pocket sheath made for it at some point, but for right now, it's just in the stock sheath, and I usually carry it inside the waistband when I'm carrying my revolver, just so I can have a fixed blade here. But so that's one of my, I call it guilty pleasure knives that I carry when I am not reviewing a knife. And then this is the Knives by Nuge Wicket. I just put a fresh edge on this, so I threw it back in the pocket, and I love this little knife. This is a great knife, great fixed blade that kind of can replace a folder. It's very, very small. Here, I'll put it next to, like, compared to carrying like the Endela, the overall footprint is not that much bigger. So very easy to just throw in the pocket and carry. Nitro V steel, G10 scales, and then this has a Defensive Industries pocket sheath. I love this little knife. It can do a lot of work kind of outside of its weight class, I'd say. It definitely punches above its weight class. You can see I've used this quite a bit. The finish is wearing off. But I love this little knife. I love Nitro V steel. So this is a great little knife. I'm sure you guys have seen the Wicket and the Wicket XL around. They're fantastic knives. So put those aside. These are the knives I've been carrying for review. So the first one here, this is the Offensive Industries Fenrir L in 3/32 stock. The original one was in 1/8" stock, and I bugged Josh enough that he made me one in 3/32, just so it's a little bit slicier. This is in Nitro V. It's got a Japanese style wrap on here. Got the brown with the purple overleg. He calls it the PB&J wrap, and then it has this sweet chocolate chip camo sheath that I love. Just been carrying this so that I can do a video comparing the 1/8" stock to the 3/32. I've been running here a 20-degree micro bevel on this, just so it retains some edge stability. But that's that. Not a whole lot to say about this, just because I've already done a review on the Fenrir L. Just been carrying it as a comparison with the different stock thicknesses. So you'll see this upcoming in a video. This guy right here, this is the Turner CNC La Bruja. I bought this one because I've been really digging Turner's stuff recently, and I wanted to check this out just because it's such an interesting knife with an interesting design. You have 3V blade steel on here as well. This is like their heat treat finish. And then I have some 3D printed scales on here. It came with Ultim scales, and I picked up 3 sets of the 3D printed scale just because I don't really like Ultim. So I have the black, the red, and some glow-in-the-dark ones. The 3D printed ones are actually a little bit grippier, and they also eliminate that lanyard hole cutout up here, which was digging into my thumb, which I didn't really like that much. So I have the red scales on here right now. Stock sheath. The stock sheath rattles a ton. So I ended up just putting, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it down in there, but I put a little piece of foam all the way down here in the end of the sheath, just so when you put it in here, it kind of holds the tip of the blade and keeps it from rattling. So that's how I've been carrying it. It's a really weird design, and I'm not sure it's necessarily for me. I actually have this posted up for trade right now on Instagram. I want to get one of Turner CNC's, the Elvia V2 with the new grind and the new scales orientation. So if you have one of those and you want to shoot me a DM on Instagram, I'd be happy to trade you for this. But I carried it enough that I'll probably do a review on it before I send it off to whoever ends up trading. So if you have some fixed blades, but especially a Turner CNC Elvia V2, hit me up on Instagram because I'd be happy to trade you guys for this. But carried that for review. And then the last one I've been carrying a ton this is from Armis Knife and Tool. He sent me this little guy. I believe it's the VSK is the model name. This is the VSK Mini. I have its big brother over there. I showed off on the new Knives and Gear video. He sent me the big brother, not to keep, but just to kind of show in comparison. So I haven't been carrying it or anything, but I have been carrying the Mini, and it's a really, really cool knife. AEBL steel, super thick stock. G10 handle scales, really pronounced puño that's really easy to draw out of the sheath. And he does really excellent deep carry pocket sheaths as well. So I've been really enjoying this. Been carrying this as primarily just a defensive blade because it came with a convex edge. And he has his own reasons that you can look up on his YouTube channel for why he puts a convex edge on there. But, usually convex edges are, for more edge stability. But you can't really do a whole lot of, EDC tasks with a convex edge. It doesn't have a whole lot of bite to the edge. So just recently I put a normal, flat, a normal V grind edge on here. I left it as a very thick edge bevel. I put it like 30 degrees per side, which is kind of around what the convex edge was. Because again, this is not a utility knife. It's a defensive blade, so I still wanted it to have a thick enough edge bevel that it wouldn't chip out or anything. But I wanted a little bit bitier of an edge because I have been, pulling this out and using it for like little tasks, poke and pry and stuff like that. So I wanted a edge on here that would at least cut if I needed it to. So I changed it from a convex to a normal V-grind edge. But that is the knife. I've been carrying this a ton. This is going to have a review coming very, very, very soon. It might even be the next video you guys see. So that is all for knives. I'm going to tease you guys and not do carry guns yet. One other thing I have in here, I always carry a Nalgene. This is the 32-ounce Nalgene. You got to stay hydrated. It's always good to have water on you. Actually, my throat's getting sore here, so I'm going to take a sip of water. But I always have a Nalgene on me. I carry it absolutely everywhere. Love it. This happens to be the glow-in-the-dark one. I got it just because it's fun, but I actually really like having the glow-in-the-dark one because I sit this on my bedside, and when I wake up in the middle of the night and need some water, it does have a faint glow still, so it's easy for me to grab this without knocking a bunch of stuff over and waking my wife up. But then the last thing here before we go into carry guns is my Fannypack. I primarily have this to keep medical gear in. I moved away from carrying, since I started carrying this pouch here for my tools in my back pocket. I used to have like an elastic slip from Wilderness Tactical that I would keep in my back pocket with my medical gear in it. But I just taken to carrying my Fannypack everywhere with me. It goes absolutely everywhere. When I'm in my car, it hangs on the passenger seat right next to me, so it's easy to get to. And I just take this everywhere. So in the front pocket here is where all my medical is. I have two Snakestaff Systems ETQs, these very small EDC-able size tourniquets. The reason I used to just carry one cat tourniquet in here, but I figured for the same size as a cat, I can have two of these. So I'd rather have two tourniquets on hand. Just, if you're with another person and, you have multiple limbs and you might be with multiple people. So I have two of these in here. I also just have a couple Band-Aids in here for, normal, cuts, scrapes, and that kind of thing. I keep a pair of gloves in here, for if you have to work on someone who's bloody and you have the time to throw gloves on. These are nice to have. And then I keep a thing of flat compressed gauze. This is great for, you use it as a compression bandage, you can wrap something up, you can improv a sling with it, you can pack wounds with it. So flat compressed gauze, I like these ones that are square instead of round because they take up a lot less space. So that just sits in there and is all packed away like that. And then in the back pocket here, I have a couple beads on here. I got one of my G3D beads on here. I got this little Ultim bead that someone sent me, but then I have this glow fob, so it's easy to find in the dark. And I just have some extra pieces of gear in here that I don't necessarily need all the time, but it's nice to still have around. One, I have this little, again, a container for some extra caffeine pouches. I believe these are called Z-Caddy. They're on Instagram. They're made for, Zyn pouches, but you can use them for whatever. They're just a lot easier than, having to, turn the, tins that all of these little pouches come in to, the correct orientation, trying to pry it open with your fingernails. This just has like a rubber seal all the way around. It's very easy to take on and off. And it's in aluminum, so it's a little more durable. And then you have a top section up here for your used ones that you can toss them in there until you get to a trash can. So I got that in there. I got my little Streamlight Clipmate that I use for having like a hands-free light. It has white and red light, and then it has this clip on it that you can kind of clip onto anything and kind of directionalize your light. This was kind of my alternative to keeping like a headlight or like a headlamp around. Just because, usually the headlamps are a little bit more bulky. This is very, very slim. It's also USB-A rechargeable. It just plugs directly into a USB port, which is nice. Recently, I did get this guy here. I forget the name of the company that makes these. They're like the really good headlamps that come with this, multicam band. I took this camping the other week, and this is really, really great. So if I can figure out a good way to kind of pack this away, I might switch this out for having this Clipmate in here, but for now, this is what's been in here. Have a little hank in here for just, you know, it's nice being out, you know, if you're going to sit on a park bench or something that's been wet, you can wipe it down. It also has microfiber on the inside, clean glasses. I have another little pouch in here from Citizen E that unzips. I just keep some CR123s in here because all of my optics and lights take these batteries. So the light on my Glock 17, my Surefire X300 takes these, as well as my EOTechs and my mod lights and stuff on my rifles. So it's nice to have some extra batteries around in case those die. I have another Citizen E pouch in here that I just keep some extra stuff in. I have a mini tape measure. For what I do for work, it's very nice to have a tape measure around. Also, tape measures come in way more handy than you would think, just for everyday kind of stuff. Like, for example, my wife and I, when we went camping the other weekend, we kind of made the back of our Honda Pilot into like a bed. And we wanted to get like a mattress topper to lay down in there to give it some extra padding, and I was able to use this to kind of measure the back space of the car to figure out what size we needed. So that's a nice little thing to have. I have an extra Bic lighter in here because those are always good to have. I have my little in-charge charging cable that gives you all of the adapters to all of the different plugs you could need. I've talked about this a million times. And then I have an extra pair of soft jaws for the Knipex, and I have a quarter in here for getting my shopping cart at Aldi. So that's all that's in that little pouch. I'm just going to put all this stuff back in here so I don't lose it. But that's another little pouch from Citizen E. And then I have my little comb in here for my beard, because my beard's getting pretty long now and it gets all over the place, especially when it's windy and stuff like that, so it's good to have that around. And I just have this, again, no-name charger bank, or battery bank. That's great for, you know, just charging on the go. So I'm just going to put all this stuff back in here, but that's all the stuff I keep in my fanny pack, is just kind of supplementary gear that I don't need on my person, that I'm not using constantly. But it is just, you know, stuff that's nice to have around. And I'll often, you know, throw my AirPods in there as well. So that's all in there. So medical and extra gear goes in my fanny pack. Now, let's talk about carry guns, because I know you guys like to see these. So, my main carry gun has been for a while, and I doubt it will change ever, if not for a very long time. This is a Glock 17. This happens to be a Gen 5. Just running irons on this right now. I have the Glock Factory metal night sights. One, just because I wanted metal sights, because I have seen Glock plastic sights break before, and I like having them be night sights, not necessarily for shooting in low light, because again, with a weapon light, you're going to silhouette your sights either way. But this is my bedside gun, so it sits next to my bed, and these are very bright at night. It's very easy for me to look over at my bedside, see these, and know exactly where my gun is. So again, Gen 5 Glock, all the internals are stock. The only things I've changed on here is I have this Cogworks raised and extended slide release. I have a Vickers Tactical raised mag release. I run Vickers Tactical base plates on here. It's easier to strip mags for malfunctions. And then I have the Surefire X300 on here, the X300U. With the little emissary paddle switch, it's much more intuitive to hit the switch than just the stock paddles. So I have that on there. And then this is, I actually stippled this frame. It came with a stipple job when I got it, but it was kind of a poor job and it wore down very quickly. So I re-stippled this recently. It's not the most professional stipple job in the world, but I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. I think it's relatively clean and much grippier now. Stippling, if you guys don't know, it really just helps with recoil control, so the gun's not slipping around in your hand if your hands are sweaty. But also, one of the things I don't hear people talk about a lot is stippling really helps you keep your grip consistent on your draws. It kind of, as soon as you put your hand on there, it kind of locks your hand into that position. So as you're drawing and punching out, it really retains that, you know, good firing grip on the gun. So that is the stipple work. I run a spare magazine as well. This is a standard Glock mag, 17 round, but with a Shield Arms +5 extension. And I run that in a Superstition Concealment mag carrier. This is my absolute all-time favorite mag carrier. I've talked about this a ton of times. Adjustable retention, fits pretty much every double stack magazine, and you can adjust the cant of the clip, and it's reversible for either side. And then the holster I've been carrying most in recently, I had been carrying in a traditional Arms light bearing jab holster, but this was sent over to me from Hellhound Arms. Josh from Offensive Industries turned me on to these guys. I wanted to try out, I'd never had a Cordura wrapped holster before, so it's got this Cordura fabric overwrap. I let him pick the colors, and I really like what he chose. It's this hot pink with the black multicam overwrap. The Cordura is really, really nice. It actually doesn't seem, it kind of seems to be like moisture and heat wicking, where it doesn't, I don't feel when I'm carrying this all day like it gets as hot up against my skin. And also the fabric keeps it from, keeps the gun from rotating a little bit. The monoblock really does help with that a lot, but the Cordura does make the tiniest little bit of difference in terms of keeping the gun from moving a whole lot, so you really get a really good consistent draw every time. Retention is great. It's got the Concealment Wing Discreet Carry Concepts monoblock with their really cool logo on there. And then in terms of, you know, advantages over the traditional Arms, the cutout for this is a lot better. That it clears the light a little bit better, so you don't, I often would catch on, I should back up here. On the traditional Arms, there's not this slanted cut on the front here, it's just straight across, and oftentimes when I was putting the light away, the wheel from my X300 would catch on that, so when I was reholstering, it would get like hung up on that wheel. But with this, where it's specifically designed for the A model with the wheel, it's cut on a slant like that, so your to reholster is much more consistent, and you don't catch the wheel on there. So that's a really nice feature. I'll be doing a full review on this holster very, very soon, but this is the main holster I've been carrying recently. And then the other one that I've been carrying, oh, my fanny pack just fell off the back of my chair, is this is from Range Holsters. This is another one that was sent to me from someone on Instagram, Range Holsters. Newer Kydex company. But this is kind of an interesting take on, you know, the sidecar design. But the cool thing about this is because, you know, it's bungee corded off here, you can take off the mag carrier and you can attach outside the waistband hooks to this side and this side and take the monoblock off, and then you can run this outside the waistband as well. So it is much more of a large form factor, and I don't really like when it's inside the waistband how big this extra material is over here. I often get poked by this, but it's comfortable enough to carry inside the waistband, but it is very nice to have this as an option to run outside the waistband. It's kind of a one-size-fits-all. You can carry it inside the waistband, you can carry it with or without the mag carrier, and you can carry it outside the waistband if you wanted to. So I will have a review coming up on that very soon as well. But for right now, my thoughts are I'm probably going to keep carrying this on the day-to-day, and I'm probably going to swap this over to the outside the waistband concealment, or the outside the waistband configuration, so I can carry like that when I want to. So that is my main carry gun. 95% of the time I'd say I'm carrying my Glock 17. But on the days where I just need, you know, to quickly throw a gun inside my waistband to, you know, go take the trash out, or quick run down the street to pick up some food that's like a minute away, and I don't want to put a belt on, I don't want to get my holster, I don't want to have something big weighing me down. This is my Smith & Wesson J-frame in 38 Special. With the Hammery Forge hook grips on here. So this is really nice. That grip, you can just tuck that right in your waistband. These are really great. I have a full review on these that I just did. These are awesome, awesome grips. And then for the backup ammo, I have I just have a speed strip in here with a Neo Mag Rast that just clips to your pocket. Very lightweight. This is a great option for just, you know, running out real quick and you just want something that's very light and easy to carry. So the other 5% of the time that I'm not carrying my 17, this is what I have. And then the last thing I need to talk about here, I know this video is getting long, but this is a new piece of gear I was sent. This is from Concealcraft, and it's called the Bridge. And this is a way to beltless carry your guns. So they have another version that's more of like a belly band where it's like elastic and you kind of sandwich your holster inside of it. But this has a you know, a belt that well, you don't run it through belt loops. You just strap it around your waist. It's adjustable. You have a clip on here. You can clip yourself in and out of it. But then you have a very sturdy gun belt-like material up here. You have some padding here on the back so it doesn't rub against your body. And then you either have the option to, they send some items, they send some like elastic with Velcro on the outside that you can sandwich inside here to like carry your extra magazines. But the nice part about this, as opposed to like a belly band or something like the Filster Enigma, where you know you kind of have to you have to mount the holster to the carrier, or you have to get like a specific holster that works for the Enigma. This just, you clip your gun in like you normally do to your belt, just like this, and then you can carry like full-size guns or really anything just as you would normally with a belt. So it's very, very sturdy. I was very surprised with how sturdy this felt. It genuinely just feels like carrying with your normal belt. And I like that you don't have to get a different holster. You don't have to swap any hardware out. You just clip it on like your normal belt. And the other nice thing about it is that it still works with the concealment wings. You know, Filster Enigma and stuff, usually the point of attachment is you take that wing off, and then you don't get that advantage of the concealment wing tucking it into your body. But with this, it acts like a normal belt, and the concealment wing still pushes against it and tucks this into your body, and then you just pull your pants up over it. So like, I carried with this in sweatpants. It's just as secure and felt just as comfortable as carrying with a normal belt. So again, this is the Concealcraft Bridge. I just got it recently, so I'll be doing much more carrying with it, and then I'll eventually do a full review on it. But that is the last thing, guys. Thank you so much for watching all of my ramblings here. I'm just gonna pull out some stuff for you to look at here as I do my outro. But that is my EDC for now. That is what I've been carrying. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about any of this kind of stuff, please leave it down in the comments section. I will leave links to everything that I talked about down in the description. And as always, thank you to Mike from Auxiliary Manufacturing for sponsoring the video. Definitely go check him out. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.